Imagine a monument so precise, so colossal, that even after over 4,500 years, it still stands undefeated by time. The Great Pyramid of Giza has fascinated historians, archaeologists, and explorers for millennia. How could an ancient civilization, with no modern machinery, lift millions of limestone blocks into perfect alignment? Its internal chambers, hidden passageways, and astronomical precision continue to baffle experts. This is not just a tomb. It is a puzzle, a testament to human ingenuity, and a gateway into ancient Egyptian secrets. Join us on History Vault as we unravel the mysteries of the Great Pyramid, explore its hidden chambers, and uncover theories that defy explanation. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to journey into history, explore lost technologies, and witness the marvels that mankind built long before modern science. Some wonders fade, but the Great Pyramid endures, guarding secrets yet to be discovered. The sun rises over the endless expanse of the Egyptian desert, its first rays slicing to the morning haze and striking the golden limestone that once coated the Great Pyramid of Giza, making it glow like a beacon in the heart of the ancient world. Imagine standing there over 4,500 years ago, when the air was thick with the scent of wet stone, the shouts of thousands of workers echoing across the sand, and the colossal structure rising block by block toward the heavens. This was no mere tomb. To the people of ancient Egypt, this was an eternal machine, a stairway for a god-king to ascend to the afterlife, and perhaps a message carved in stone for the ages to come. Even today, the Great Pyramid stands defiant against time, the last surviving wonder of the ancient world, holding within its silent chambers the whispers of a civilization both magnificent and mysterious. To understand the Great Pyramid, we must first understand a man it was built for, Pharaoh Khufu, a ruler whose very name struck awe and fear into his people. Known to the Greeks as Cheops, Khufu reigned during Egypt's fourth dynasty, around 2580 BC. Ancient records paint a contradictory picture. Some inscriptions suggest he was a godlike leader who commanded respect, while others, like the accounts of historian Herodotus, depict him as a ruthless tyrant who enslaved his people for his monumental ambitions. Which version is true? Perhaps both. For the ancient pharaohs, power was absolute, and ambition was a divine right. The site chosen for the pyramid was no accident. Giza, a rocky plateau west of the Nile, offered a firm foundation and proximity to the river, ensuring that the massive limestone and granite blocks could be transported with relative ease. The alignment of the pyramid is perhaps its first great mystery. It is almost perfectly oriented to the cardinal points of the compass, a feat so precise that even modern engineers struggle to explain how it was achieved without advanced technology. Some researchers believe the Egyptians used the stars, specifically the position of the North Star, to guide their work. Others suggest the answer lies in meticulous observation of the sun's shadow over the seasons. Then comes a question that has puzzled historians, engineers, and dreamers for centuries. How was it built? Over 2 million blocks of stone, each weighing an average of 2.5 tons, were quarried, transported, and placed with such precision that a razor blade cannot fit between them. One theory holds that massive ramps were constructed, either straight or spiraling around the pyramid, allowing teams of workers to haul the stones upward. But here lies a problem. Such ramps would have required more material than the pyramid itself, and left traces we have yet to find. Others suggest internal ramps or even advanced lifting devices lost time. And then there are the fringe theories, that the pyramid was built with the help of knowledge passed down from forgotten civilization, or even extraterrestrial visitors who gifted humanity a jump start in technology. The workforce behind this colossal endeavor was not, as many imagine, a mass of slaves whipped into submission. Archaeological evidence suggests that the laborers were well-fed, organized into teams, and rotated seasonally, likely drawn from the farming population during the Nile's annual flood when agriculture halted. This was a national project, blending religious devotion with the pride of building something eternal. Each block, each inch of polished stone, was a testament to the power of the Pharaoh and the unity of his people. Inside the Great Pyramid, the design is unlike any other of its time. The narrow passages lead to the king's chamber, constructed entirely of massive granite blocks brought from Aswan, hundreds of miles to the south. Above this chamber lies a series of relieving chambers, designed to distribute the immense weight of the pyramid. Yet even with such genius engineering, the purpose of certain internal features remains unknown. The so-called air shafts, for example, are too narrow for ventilation. Some believe they were aligned with specific stars, perhaps guiding the pharaoh's soul to the heavens. Others think they served as symbolic pathways, linking the world of the living with the cosmos. And then there is the question of the missing casing stones. In its prime, the Great Pyramid was covered in gleaming white Tura limestone, polished to perfection, reflecting the sun's light so brilliantly that it could be seen from miles away. Over centuries, these stones were stripped away, likely reused for other building projects in Cairo. What remains today is the rough core, weathered by time, but still a marvel of human ingenuity. Even in the modern era, the Great Pyramid continues to guard its secrets. In recent years, scientists have used advanced scanning techniques, including muon tomography, to peer inside its structure. They discovered a massive, previously unknown void above the Grand Gallery. Its purpose still a mystery. Is it a hidden chamber, a construction space, or something else entirely? Theories abound, but answers remain elusive. Standing before the Great Pyramid, one cannot help but feel a deep sense of humility. This is a monument that has outlived empires, witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, and stood silently as the world changed around it. It is a reminder that human ambition can carve its mark upon the earth in ways that echo through eternity. Yet for all we have learned, the Great Pyramid still holds more questions than answers. Was it merely a tomb or a complex astronomical device? A symbol of divine kingship, or a message to the stars? Perhaps the truth lies buried deep within its stones, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. The Nile River flows quietly under the scorching Egyptian sun, its waters shimmering like molten gold. 4.5 millennia ago, this very river was a lifeline of Khufu's grand vision. Barges loaded with colossal limestone blocks drifted downstream, guided by skilled crews who knew every bend and current. These stones came from quarries just across the river, but the heart of the pyramid, the granite used in the king's chamber, had a far more distant journey. It was quarried in Aswan, nearly 600 miles to the south, and transported with logistical brilliance that still astonishes modern engineers. Imagine the planning. Hundreds of men hauling blocks that weighed up to 80 tons, timing the shipments to align with the Nile's flood, and then rolling them over wooden sledges on slickened mud to construction site. At Giza, the scene must have been staggering. Thousands of laborers, artisans, and overseers moved with the rhythm of a massive, living machine. Teams worked in shifts, some dragging stone, others chiseling to perfection, while scribes recorded every delivery. Overseers barked commands over the constant thud of wooden mallets and the scrape of copper chisels. The air would have been heavy with the smell of sweat, fresh-cut stone, and the sweet tang of bread baking for the workers in nearby village kitchens. This was not just construction. It was a ritual, an offering to gods, and performance of loyalty to Khufu. The pyramid rose in stages, each layer slightly smaller than the last, creating a giant staircase to the sky. As the structure grew, the challenge intensified. Without cranes or modern machinery, the Egyptians had to devise ways to lift stones higher and higher. The ramp theory still dominates scholarly debate. Perhaps a straight causeway extending from the plateau, or a spiraling ramp hugging the pyramid's edges. But neither theory fits perfectly with the evidence. The straight ramp would have been impossibly long. The spiral ramp leaves no trace. Could there have been an internal ramp, concealed within the structure itself? Some archaeologists believe they have found hints of such a design, hidden beneath the pyramid's outer layers. If true, it would show that the Egyptians possessed an engineering sophistication centuries ahead of their time. Inside, the precision is breathtaking. The Grand Gallery, a tall, sloping passageway leading to the king's chamber, is lined with massive granite blocks, each fitted so precisely that modern laser measurements find deviations smaller than a millimeter. Above the king's chamber, 5 relieving chambers distribute the crushing weight of the pyramid, preventing the ceiling from collapsing. These spaces were never meant to be seen. They were discovered only when explorers cut their way upward in the 19th century. On the walls, rough red hieroglyphs still bear the names of the work crews. Human fingerprints left on a god's monument. But perhaps the most puzzling features are the narrow shafts leading from the king's and queen's chambers. Too small for a human to crawl through, they run at precise angles toward the outside. In 1993, a robotic camera sent into one shaft found a small limestone door with copper handles. An enigma within an enigma. Later probes discovered another door beyond it, deepening the mystery. Were these channels meant to align with specific stars, guiding Khufu's soul toward the constellation Orion, sacred to the god Osiris? Or did they serve as part of an ancient energy system, as some fringe theorists boldly claim? The pyramid's outer casing, in its prime, would have been its most striking feature. Imagine the desert sun blazing off the white limestone, the structure glowing like a second sun on Earth. Ancient writers described it as a sight that could be seen from the edge of the horizon, a beacon proclaiming Egypt's might. Over centuries, earthquakes loosened the casing stones, and they were quarried away to build Cairo's mosques and fortresses. Only at the pyramid's base, on the north side, do a few of these polished stones remain, hinting at the structure's former perfection. For centuries after Khufu's reign, the pyramid became a place of legend. Ancient Egyptians of later dynasties revered it, but they also wove tales around it. Some claiming it held hidden libraries of wisdom, others that it was built by gods or giants before the Great Flood. By the time Greek travelers like Herodotus visited, it had already become an object of fascination and speculation. Herodotus, writing in the 5th century BC, passed on stories from Egyptian priests, tales of vast underground chambers, of rivers flowing beneath the pyramid, and of Khufu's burial with unimaginable treasures. Modern archaeology has found little evidence for such grand treasures, leading some to believe the tomb was looted in antiquity. Yet the sheer mystery of the empty chambers fuels the idea that perhaps, just perhaps, something still lies undiscovered deep within its heart. In the modern era, the Great Pyramid has drawn not only archaeologists but also adventurers, treasure hunters, and even those seeking answers beyond the reach of science. Napoleon Bonaparte himself visited in 1798, standing in the king's chamber for hours in silence. When asked what he had seen, he reportedly replied, "You would not believe me if I told you." This one remark has sparked centuries of speculation. What could have impressed, or perhaps unnerved, a man like Napoleon so deeply? Was it simply the overwhelming scale of human achievement, or did he sense the weight of something far older and stranger? Today, satellite imagery and advanced scans are peeling back layers of mystery, yet the pyramid resists full understanding. The 2017 discovery of the massive hidden void above the Grand Gallery, a space at least 30 meters long, has reignited debates. Why would the builders leave such a cavity? Some think it's a construction feature. Others see it as a last unopened chamber, a vault waiting to reveal a secret seal for millennia, until someone dares to explore it. The void remains silent, a dark space holding its truth close. And so the Great Pyramid endures, a monument to ambition, a puzzle for the ages, and a reminder that humanity's reach for the eternal can defy time itself. Standing before it, you feel the weight of centuries pressing in, the same wind brushing your face that once carried the voices of those who built it. You are connected, however briefly, to a chain of history stretching back to a time when gods walked in the imagination of men, and the desert echoed with the sound of creation. The death of Pharaoh Khufu was not simply the end of man's life. It was the passing of a god-king from the realm of mortals into the eternal world of the afterlife. In the Egyptian mind, death was not an ending but a transformation, a journey into a realm where one would live forever, provided the proper rituals were observed and the tomb remained intact. For Khufu, the Great Pyramid was not just his grave. It was his vessel for eternity. Every stone, every passage, every chamber was designed to aid his soul's voyage to the next world. In the days following his death, the atmosphere in the royal court would have been heavy with both grief and ceremony. Priests, clad in white linen, recited spells in the pyramid texts, some of the oldest known religious writings in history, guiding Khufu's spirit to the dangers of the Egyptian underworld. His mummified body would be placed within a sarcophagus of fine granite, sealed inside the king's chamber, surrounded by the offerings and goods he might need in the afterlife. Food, wine, precious jewelry, and weapons. The belief was clear. The afterlife mirrored the world of the living, and Khufu would continue his reign among the gods. But here lies one of history's greatest enigmas. The king's chamber today stands empty. No mummy, No treasures, no clear sign of burial goods remain. Did grave robbers plunder the tomb in antiquity? Or was Khufu's body never placed there at all? Some fringe theories suggest the pyramid's true purpose was never funerary, that it might have served as an astronomical observatory, an initiation chamber for ancient priesthoods, or even a colossal energy device lost to history. The absence of the pharaohs remains fuels speculation that the real burial site might still lie hidden beneath the sands of Egypt, waiting to be found. The ancient Egyptians were obsessed with the idea of protection, guarding the body and the tomb from desecration. Curses, both real and imagined, became part of this tradition. Though the famous Curse of the Pharaohs is most associated with Tutankhamun's tomb, legends say Khufu's resting place was also guarded by divine threats. One old tale claims a secret inscription was placed somewhere within the pyramid, warning that any who disturbed the king's eternal rest will be struck down by the gods. While archaeologists have never found such a curse in the pyramid itself, stories of strange misfortunes befalling explorers have circulated for centuries. Consider the case of early European adventurers in the 17th and 18th centuries. Some who entered the pyramid reported sudden illnesses, accidents, or even death shortly after their expeditions. Modern skeptics attribute this to disease, environmental hazards, or mere coincidence, but to the superstitious mind, the connection was clear. The pyramid did not take kindly to intruders. Even in modern times, workers and tourists have claimed to feel inexplicable dread inside the narrow passages, as if the weight of thousands of years presses down on them. Beyond the myth of curses, the pyramid's connection to the stars offers another layer of mystery. The ancient Egyptians saw their pharaoh as a living embodiment of Horus, the falcon god, and in death he became Osiris, ruler of the underworld. The alignment of the pyramid's shafts toward the belt of Orion and the star Sirius was no accident. Orion was linked to Osiris, while Sirius was associated with the goddess Isis, the divine couple of the afterlife. Through these alignments, Khufu's soul was symbolically launched into the celestial realm, joining the gods in their eternal cycle. Yet, there are whispers of even older knowledge embedded in the pyramid's design. Some researchers have noted that the pyramid's dimensions seem to encode advanced mathematical constants, such as pi and the golden ratio, leading to the wild suggestion that it preserves a scientific legacy far beyond what ancient Egypt is credited for. Others claim its position on the Earth corresponds with a geodetic center point, as if the builders possessed a global understanding of the planet's geography. Whether coincidence or genius, these numerical and positional mysteries only deepen the allure. Over the centuries, the Great Pyramid became a target for treasure seekers. The most famous breach occurred around 820 A.D., when the Caliph Al-Amun ordered his men to bore into the structure, seeking gold and relics. They found none, but their tunnel, now called the Robber's Tunnel, remains a scar on the pyramid's side, a physical reminder of mankind's relentless hunger for what lies hidden. Strangely, despite penetrating deep into the core, they encountered no body, no treasure, nothing but stone. Did someone else get there first, or was Khufu never there at all? The legends did not stop with grave robbers. In medieval times, Arab historians spun tales of the pyramid as a repository of all human knowledge, built before the Great Flood by a prophet or a king to preserve wisdom for future generations. According to some versions, it contained astronomical charts, maps of the world, and secrets of alchemy. While no such treasures have been found, these stories kept the pyramid alive in the imagination of scholars, mystics, and adventurers alike. Standing inside the king's chamber today, one feels an eerie stillness. The air is dry and heavy, and the granite walls seem to drink in every sound. The empty sarcophagus sits like a dark heart in the center, its edges worn smooth by centuries of touch. To some, it is a coffin that once held a god-king. To others, it is an altar, a device, or a clue in a puzzle too vast to solve. The longer you stand there, the more the mind begins to wander, to imagine the chamber lit by flickering oil lamps, filled with chanting priests, and the scent of incense curling into the darkness. As the centuries rolled on, the Great Pyramid weathered storms, earthquakes, invasions, and the rise and fall of countless empires. It watched the armies of Alexander the Great march into Egypt, saw the Romans take its land, and stood silent as Christianity and later Islam transformed the culture around it. Through it all, it remained a sentinel of stone guarding whatever truth it still holds. In the modern age, the Great Pyramid has transformed from an object of local reverence and ancient superstition into one of the most studied and most debated structures on Earth. Archaeologists, engineers, mathematicians, and dreamers have all been drawn to its massive bulk, each convinced they might be the one to finally unlock its secrets. Yet the closer we look, the more elusive the answers seem to become, as if the pyramid is a riddle that deliberately shifts shape each time we think we understand it. The early wave of scientific exploration began in the 19th century. Men like Colonel Howard Weiss and Flinders Petrie brought measuring instruments, compasses, and sheer determination to Giza. Weiss, in 1837, blasted his way into upper chambers above the king's chamber, discovering the quarry marks that bore Khufu's name, the strongest piece of evidence linking the pyramid to this pharaoh. Petrie, meticulous and patient, spent years measuring every angle, stone, and passageway, documenting the astonishing precision of its construction. His findings left many wondering how such accuracy was achieved with the tools of the ancient world. But for every sober-minded archaeologist, there were also those who came with more mystical or speculative ideas. Some early 20th century researchers believed the pyramid held hidden power, that its shape and proportions created a mysterious energy field capable of preserving food, sharpening blades, or even healing illness. These claims have never been scientifically proven, but they help cement the pyramid's reputation as something more than mere stone. The arrival of modern technology brought a new era of investigation. In the 1960s, a team of scientists from the University of Chicago and the Egyptian Antiquities Organization used cosmic ray muon detectors to search for hidden chambers. Their findings hinted at possible anomalies, but the technology of the time was too crude to draw firm conclusions. Decades later, in 2017, the Scan Pyramids Project, a multinational effort using muon tomography, infrared tomography, and 3D modeling, confirmed the existence of a massive void above the Grand Gallery. This space, at least 30 meters long, has not been entered by humans in thousands of years. Its purpose is unknown. Was it simply a structural feature or a deliberately concealed chamber? Theories exploded in the wake of this discovery. Mainstream Egyptologists leaned toward practical explanation. Perhaps it was a relieving space to reduce weight, but more imaginative minds see it differently. Could it be the real burial chamber, hidden from thieves by placing the more obvious king's chamber as a decoy? Could it contain treasures, documents, or artifacts that would rewrite our understanding of history? Until exploration is permitted, a step complicated by Egypt's strict preservation laws. We can only guess. Meanwhile, the Great Pyramid has not escaped the attention of conspiracy theorists and alternative historians. Figures like Graham Hancock and Robert Bauval have popularized the idea that the pyramid's design is tied to astronomical alignments far older than the reign of Khufu, suggesting that it is a legacy from a lost civilization predating recorded history. They point to the precise alignment of the Giza pyramids with the belt stars of Orion and the mathematical relationships between the pyramid's dimensions and the Earth itself, its circumference, its polar radius, even the length of the solar year. Critics call these coincidences. Believers see them as proof of an ancient, advanced science now forgotten. Modern adventurers have brought new tools into the pyramid: high-resolution photography, micro-robots capable of crawling through shafts, ground-penetrating radar. Each brings a flurry of excitement and, inevitably, new puzzles. In 2002, a robotic probe sent through one of the Queen's chamber shafts encountered a small limestone door with copper fittings. When a follow-up mission drilled a hole through it, they found another sealed door beyond. What lies past that second door remains unknown. The Egyptian authorities, cautious about damaging the structure, have not rushed to open it, leaving the mystery to linger. The pyramid has also become a site of deep cultural pride for Egypt. Millions of tourists visit every year, standing in awe at its sheer scale. Guides lead them to the narrow ascending passage, into Grand Gallery, and finally to the King's Chamber, where the air is thick, the granite walls cold to the touch, and the silence so complete that you can hear your own heartbeat. Some visitors report an overwhelming sense of peace or reverence. Others feel a weight, as though the ancient stones themselves are aware of the intrusion. Preserving the Great Pyramid has become a race against time. Air pollution from Cairo, vibrations from heavy tourist traffic, and the relentless march of erosion all threaten its stability. Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities has imposed strict controls on access, limiting entry to certain areas and banning climbing on the exterior. Still, questions persist about whether we should probe deeper, risking potential damage, or leave the pyramid's remaining secrets untouched. The Great Pyramid is also a stage for grand symbolic gestures. In 1977, a group of scientists and mystics gathered in the king's chamber, attempting to meditate and tune into the energy of the pyramid. In 2008, a team projected a massive laser beam from its peak toward the stars as part of celebration of International Astronomy Year. In both cases, the symbolism was clear. Humanity still looks to the pyramid as a bridge between earth and sky, past and future. And yet, for all our technology, for all our scanning devices and algorithms, the pyramid remains fundamentally unknowable. It stands on the Giza plateau as it has for 45 centuries, its base anchored in the bedrock of Egypt, its apex once crowned in gleaming stone that caught the sun's first light. It is both a monument to human ambition and a silent partner to mystery itself. You can measure its angles, trace its alignments, catalog every block, and still you will not have touched its soul. Perhaps that is the true genius of the Great Pyramid. It was designed not only to last forever, but to make us wonder forever. Every age finds in the reflection of its own hopes and fears. For the ancient Egyptians, it was the gateway to eternal life. For medieval scholars, it was a vault of divine knowledge. For us, it is a puzzle that refuses to yield all its pieces, a constant reminder that some mysteries are meant to endure. Under the fading light of the desert sun, the Great Pyramid casts a shadow that stretches far across the sands, as if trying to bridge the gulf between past and present. The wind carries the scent of dry earth and faint traces of the Nile's fertile breath, just as it did thousands of years ago when Khufu's kingdom thrived. Standing here, you feel the weight of history pressing in from all sides. This is not just a monument. It is the echo of an entire civilization's heartbeat, still pulsing in stone. The pyramid does not speak, yet it tells a story older than empires and greater than kings, a story of human ambition reaching for the divine. For 45 centuries, this colossus of limestone and granite has outlasted wars, conquests, earthquakes, and the slow decay of time itself. It has seen the world transform around it, from the chariots of ancient invaders to the airplanes that now circle high above. Empires have risen and fallen in its shadow. Religions have been born, flourished, and reshaped the beliefs of billions. Yet the Great Pyramid remains, unmoved and unchanged, as if carved from the very idea of eternity itself. Its survival is not just a testament to Egyptian engineering, but to something deeper, the human will to create something that outlives the creator. In Khufu's day, the pyramid was a declaration of divine power, a visible promise that the pharaoh would never truly die. Today, it is a reminder that what we build, when guided by vision and purpose, can endure beyond our wildest imaginings. It humbles us with the realization that while we think of ourselves as advanced, we are still struggling to match the genius of those who work with copper tools and sheer determination. And yet, the pyramid's endurance has not stripped it of its mystery. If anything, its survival has made it more enigmatic. Each generation arrives with new questions. What was its true purpose? Was it a tomb, a celestial observatory, a time capsule? Were the builders working with knowledge passed down from an earlier, forgotten age? Or is the pyramid a purely human achievement? Proof of what can be done when belief, labor, and leadership converge? The answers remain hidden, locked behind walls of stone and centuries of silence. Perhaps that is why the Great Pyramid continues to inspire not just archaeologists, but artists, poets, and storytellers. It is more than a relic. It is a mirror in which we see our own yearning for permanence. We live in a world obsessed with speed, progress, and constant change. The pyramid reminds us that there is also power in stillness, in endurance, in the quiet confidence of something built to last for ages. As night falls, the desert grows silent except for the whisper of the wind across the plateau. The pyramid becomes a dark silhouette against a sky flooded with stars, the same stars that guided the ancient architects, the same constellations they believed would carry Khufu's soul to the afterlife. Somewhere above, Orion's belt glimmers, and Sirius burns bright on the horizon, as if keeping eternal watch over the king who sought to join them. In this moment, You can almost believe the ancient Egyptians were right, that a monument like this does not just mark a place in the world, but a place in eternity. And yet, for all the awe it inspires, the Great Pyramid is not an isolated marvel. It is but the first chapter in a grand saga, the seven wonders of the ancient world. Each wonder is a testament to humanity's drive to imagine and create beyond the limits of necessity, to leave behind something that stirs the soul long after the hands that built it have turned to dust. From the hanging gardens of Babylon to the towering Colossus of Rhodes, from the Temple of Artemis to the Lighthouse of Alexandria, each carries its own story, its own mysteries, and its own echo of the past. The Great Pyramid stands alone in one way. It is the last of those wonders still standing. All others have crumbled into memory, surviving only in fragments and faded records. But their stories endure, waiting to be told, just as the Great Pyramid story has been told for thousands of years. And so, as you step away from the shadow of Khufu's eternal monument, you cannot help but wonder, if the other wonders still stood, what secrets would they whisper to us? That is a journey we now begin. To travel across time and space, to stand in the gardens that may never have existed, to feel the spray of waves against the Lighthouse of Alexandria, to hear the echoes of worship in the Temple of Artemis. Each wonder will bring us closer to understanding not only the civilizations that built them, but also the timeless human desire to create beauty, power, and meaning that outlasts our mortal lives. The Great Pyramid of Giza has given us more questions than answers, more wonder than certainty. And perhaps that is its truest gift, for in its shadow, we are reminded that the past is not dead. It is alive, breathing through the stones, waiting for those willing to listen. And as long as it stands, so will our curiosity. This is where our series begins. One wonder down, 6 to go. The sands of history are shifting, and the next chapter is already calling. The Great Pyramid of Giza stands as the only surviving wonder of the ancient world, a silent sentinel of time, watching over the sands of Egypt. Its grandeur is unmatched, its precision unparalleled, and its secrets remain locked within its massive stone blocks. From astronomical alignments to hidden chambers, the pyramid continues to challenge our understanding of ancient engineering and human ambition. If you've been captivated by its mystery, subscribe to History Vault and hit the bell icon. Join us as we explore hidden corridors, lost knowledge, and the ingenuity of a civilization that built the ultimate testament to human achievement. The pyramid may be ancient, but its story is eternal, inviting curious minds to uncover its secrets even today.